Well, welcome back. Now, if I didn't bore you enough with my last video on how to insert parts, I think I'll try again with this video. Anyway, before we start this video on the parts library page, I want to point out something I said in the last video. At the very end, I said that ExpressPCB stopped working a certain way. And that way was when you click on the part button and drag your cursor onto the drawing area, it would open the parts library for you. Now, my program was doing that, and then it just stopped, and I could not get it to do it. But today, as I record this, lo and behold, ExpressPCB has decided it wants to do that again. So I'm going to see if I can demonstrate that for you right here. Hopefully it's going to work. So I have the select button selected, and I'm going to come down here. I'm going to select part, and now I'm going to drag my cursor over, and whoa, there it is. It automatically opened the parts library. And this is what I tried to demonstrate in video 17, but ExpressPCB just looked at me and said, I'm not going to do that for you. And ExpressPCB does that a lot to me. Okay, now I'm going to close this out like this. And I'm going to come back here and I'm going to hit select. And then I'm going to come down here and we're going to try it one more time just to see if it works. Oh, it still works. All right. What I did this morning, I was getting ready to record this. And I came over here and I can't really show you. Let me open the parts library. Let me just grab something here. This looks good. All right. I came over here because I was setting up ExpressPCB for this video, and I had a bunch of parts here that I didn't need. So I said, clear recent history. Now, I have done this before. I have cleared the history. I have reset the program. I even reloaded the program, and I could not get it to work with clicking on the part button and then pulling it over and opening the parts library. So I know I'm going on, but this is annoying. So anyway, now if I come up here and I select part, I should get that resistor again. Okay, now let's do this. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to clear recent history like that. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to hit part. I'm going to pull it over. There it goes again. Clear recent history. Let's check it. See, it's gone. Go to select. Come back down to part. Yep, stop doing it. So sometime in the future, ExpressPCB will go, you know what? I'm going to let you do that again. But for right now, it's not doing it. So the heck with that. Let's get rid of that. And let's talk about the parts library. Okay, let's open up the parts library. We know how to do that. We come over here to part. We go to more parts in library. And it opens up just like that. And I'm going to pull this up so that we are at the top of the list like that. Now, we discussed the category radio buttons in the last video. And as you can see, the page opened with the all categories selected. So this time around, let's see what the top row of options offers. Now, first up is new user defined parts. Now, if I click on that, I get a blank board with the properties window, just like if I selected new under file on a drawing. Now, this is where you can start to design your custom component or user-defined part. And we'll go over this in detail when we get to the video on designing custom components. So let me close this one out. I have to hit cancel, then I have to go up here, close that like that. Come back over here, open up parts library. Now we're ready. Okay, next up is the refresh button. Now, the refresh lets you update the thumbnails and information on items in the parts gallery. If you add a custom part or a snap EDA part, you sometimes have to refresh the category in order to get the new part to display. And I'm going to pull this up again. A lot of times it will open at the very bottom of the list. I'm not sure why it does that. Other times it will open at the top of the list. Now, next in our hit parade are these three icons here, and they determine the size of the thumbnails in the library. Your choices are large, medium, and small. Now, so far, all of this is pretty darn basic. Now, Next is sort by. And it works pretty much like any other sort by that you have ever used. Let me click on it like this. And you'll notice that your choices are name, category, location, date, and recent usage. And at the bottom, there are also choices for having the files in ascending or descending order. Now, I usually have the library page display parts by name and in ascending order. All of the parts, including any custom parts you have made, will be displayed starting with 1 or maybe 0 and moving all the way down to Z or Z for our British friends. Now, if I select category like this, it will display them in order of their category, starting with AVR and ending with trim pots. You can see trim pots is the last category, and if I pull this all the way down to the end, there are all of the trim pots. Let me go back up to the top. Our next choice is location. Now, location is kind of interesting. It places parts in the list according to where they are in the RRPCB files or the user-defined parts file. And just so you know, user-defined parts are RRB files, and I'll explain both of those in a moment. Now, this is why when you're using a location, you might see a resistor next to a voltage regulator in the list. Yeah, it's a little confusing. Now, when you do choose location, ExpressPCB will place all of your custom parts at the very bottom of the page if you have ascending selected. And this is because they are RRB files. So if I pull this down again, all of these parts, all the way up to somewhere around here, right there, these are all custom parts that I have made. Now, if we come back up to the top and I select date, I believe they appear in the order in which the part was created and saved. Typically, if you import a Snap EDA part or design a part, they'll be the first to be displayed in ascending mode. And our last choice here, recent usage, well, it's just that. The part you used most recently is displayed at the top of the screen. Okay, let me go back to name like this, and we'll take a look at the find function. Now, the find function works pretty well. If I click on this, I have the choices of match case, whole word, or only file name and description. And I don't click on anything. I just leave it like that. Now, when I type something into find, it will look at all of my parts and then display anything that matches what I've typed in. So let me type in capacitor like this. I'm going to hit enter. And it will find all of the files with the word capacitor in the name or that are in the capacitor category. Now, I am in the all category for the search. Now, if I change the category to say optocoupler like this, you can see the find function now returns a message that says, no parts found, try a different search term, or try changing the category to all. Good advice. Now, I can also use a partial description. Let me come back here. I'm going to clear that out. You'll notice the entire library pops up again. And I'm going to type in 2N and hit enter. And now find will return anything that has 2N in it. Now, once I have the results, I can select the part I want by coming over and double-clicking on it, or selecting it and hitting enter, or opening this and saying choose parts. So for this one, we're just going to double-click, and there's my transistor. Let me get rid of that, and let's open the parts library again. And we're going to go to the top. Now, once I have searched for something, and I'll put in 2N again. And now it's displaying everything with 2N in it. And if I change my mind and I want to search for, say, dip sockets, I can erase the 2N and type in dip and get the results for that. So I can just come in here, I can do that, type in dip, hit enter, and now it's showing all of the dip sockets. Now, if I want to change categories and do a search, I can select the category and then type in my new search. So let's change to diode, like that. I'll come up here and I'll type in LED, hit enter. And there are all of my LEDs. Now to stop searching, you have to click on the X by the find box to clear the data field. Otherwise, it will just keep on searching. So let's click that X there. Also, sometimes it will give you weird results. If I select the dip category like this, and then type in 8, you would think that it would return only 8-pin dip sockets, but when I hit enter, it gives me an odd return. It shows me just about every dip socket in the dip category, and then way at the end is the actual 8-pin dip socket I was looking for. So occasionally you will get odd results like this, but for the most part, find works okay. All right, let's clear the find field and let's go back to all like that. Now, parts that are supplied with ExpressPCB are called RRPCB files. And parts you make or import via Eagle or Snap EDA are called RRB files. And sometimes it's nice to know where parts are located on your computer. Typically, built-in parts reside in the Program Files (x86) /ExpressPCB Plus /built-in parts folder. Custom-made parts, Eagle parts, and Snap EDA parts reside in C:\users /your name here /OneDrive /documents /ExpressPCB Plus user-defined parts. Now, you may not have a OneDrive. I keep trying to get rid of my OneDrive, but Bill Gates knows best, I guess. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Now, here is how you find out where a part is located. Pick a part, any part. Now, for this demo, I'm going to select this axial capacitor right here with a 1.8-inch lead spacing. I'm going to right-click on it like this and choose Open Folder in Windows Explorer. And here is the folder with the file path to where your part is. But wait, you don't see the individual part, just a highlighted line that says capacitors.rrpcb. That's right, all built-in parts are in RRPCB files. To see what an RRPCB file is, let's minimize that one. We will right-click again on that capacitor and we are going to choose Open Part File this time. And look at that. All of the built-in capacitors are here on this drawing. This is how ExpressPCB Plus keeps track of the built-in parts. Now, can I edit a part here and save it to the RRPCB drawing? No, it won't let you do that. At least I haven't found a way to do this. If I edit a part here and save the entire drawing, it will save as an RRB file. It will be listed in the built-in parts folder, but not as an RRPCB file, and it will not replace the existing capacitor RRPCB file. And if you open that part from the parts folder that you saved from this drawing, it will be inserted into your drawing way off the screen. So it has something to do with the origin point, something I haven't figured out. Now, being able to edit an RRPCB file is something I think I will play around with in the future, but for now we're just going to leave it alone. So what about my custom parts? Well, let me get rid of this. And we're going to go back to the parts library once again. Let me open that up. And this time we're at the bottom again. So let's lift that up like that. All right. So find a part that you made. In this case, I am going to use this bridge rectifier right here. I'm going to right-click on it, and I'm going to choose Open Folder in Windows Explorer. And up pops the folder where all of my custom parts are located. And as you can see, that bridge rectifier is right here. And here is the file path. Very long file path. And you'll note that the part is indeed saved as an RRB file. Okay, I'm going to close that out. Okay, this time I'm going to come back to the bridge rectifier. I'm going to right-click and I'm going to choose Open Part File. And here is the original drawing where I made the part. So if I come over here and I click on this part like this, I can come up here to the part description data field, and you can see the part description I gave to it when I designed the part. And if I come over here to file description, in this data field, you can see the category I told ExpressPCB to save it in for displaying in the parts library. Now, can I edit this part? Well, yes, I can. I can edit it, I can give it a new description, and I can save it as a new user-defined part, and it will appear in the library and in the user-defined parts folder. Now, I'll go over how to do all of that when we get to the videos on making your own custom part. Just think of that last sentence as a teaser. Okay, I think that is all I wanted to talk about for the parts library. If there's anything else, I'll add it to another video. So the next time we will talk about adding parts from the Snap EDA website. Now, I can't make it work like the good folks at ExpressPCB show you, so I have a workaround if you get the same error that I do. We'll see you then.